Alright, we are on, and I am going to be playing a little bit of Tour 6, and I'll chat with you guys about a little bit of anxiety things from what's going on. A little bit about my day today, I guess. Wait for the room to populate a little bit. In the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and open up a couple chests. See what we get here. Gems. Ooh, a machete. I've wanted that type of card forever. Can you tell? Quarterback getting close to being maxed, and the down in one. Most useless club I've ever had the pleasure of using. Or at least getting. So we're going to start a little bit of Tour 6 here. I've been struggling mightily. I don't know if you guys pay attention to my my trophies and everything. It's an interesting Golf Clash photo. Just show your neck with a choker on it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, I gotta do the other one. It takes 11 minutes. So.
Let's see here. I think that's going in the sand. Whoo-hoo! Doesn't get much luckier than that, does it? Although it didn't really set me up very nice for my next shot. Hopefully the sniper will have enough curl to get me around these trees. I really got to learn the ring system. I don't know that I'm actually ever going to do like the thing where you line it up, you point it north, and you use your bar, but it would be nice to know what the rings on each thing were. And see, this makes me mad. My wind is sideways, so I have to avoid going into the rough. His wind is just back and forth. So all he has to do is push forward a little. I would have loved to have had a tailwind. They need to fix that. Even if they do it, you know, you can almost speed up the games in a way by fixing that. By just having the two players take their turn at the same time. And then you get to see where the ball ends up. I mean, today is kind of a spontaneous stream. It was tomorrow. I kind of have, as you can see, come on, say it, say it. I'm sure you guys have seen the commercial. Wow.
Yeah.
Am I going to be able to wrap around this? Because I don't trust going straight through it. Let's try this. Just really hope that the hook works. It's going to be close, or it might not be close at all. I might just mess it up. Oh, okay. I'll take that.
I'm about to get on. Wait on. Wait controller.
So it seems like everyone who usually joins me is busy at the moment. So I guess I'm just talking to you guys who don't catch it on the flip side, or well, who do catch it on the flip side, but not while I'm actually streaming. So, you know, if you haven't heard through other videos or whatever, I suffer from something called agoraphobia. And that means that it makes it hard for me to travel, you know, distances. Some people are stuck in their house, you know, and they can't go anywhere outside their house or whatever, while other people are, you know, like myself, I could only go at best about 7 miles from my house in any given direction. However, you know, that varies, and you have peaks and valleys, and right now I'm kind of in a valley. And my doctor's office is like 5.5 miles away. So I haven't been able to see my doctors because they were too far from me about the past year. And I am on disability, and disability requires me to see a doctor so they can keep track of my progress. Otherwise, every 2 years I got to go to a doctor of their choosing or whatnot. And they'll put me smack dab in the middle of downtown Cleveland. I don't know where they'll put me, but I can't make it as far as they want me to go. So my doctors, it was kind of like an answered type prayer type thing almost. My doctors moved from 5.5 miles away to probably about 2 miles away. So I was extremely happy about that. And oops, don't play this hole like that. But anyway, I was extremely happy about that. And I had my first appointment today. Earlier today I went up and I practiced. I drove there, went into the building, went into the doctor's waiting room just to kind of acclimate myself with the place and everything. And figured the dry run would make the next run a lot easier. And the fact of the matter is, it didn't. I went there, I felt like a caged lion. I was pacing all over the place. I just wanted to escape, and I know I couldn't. Yeah, I like how he puts the little shades up there, like he knew he was gonna drop it in, or she, whatever that is. Let's see if you can do that again. Oh, okay. One-time pony. So, yeah, I went and, I was freaking out, but I got this really awesome doctor who actually cares, and walked me through, the anxiety issues. Well, not the issues, but like breathing techniques and everything, and really got me to calm down. I still had to leave early because even though I did calm down, it felt like, even though I was on solid footing, for lack of a better term, it felt like my solid footing was either very thin ice or like a cracked eggshell. And at any time, I could just lose control and, need to get out of there right away. That's the feeling that I had. So I was able to stay for 40 minutes, for my hour appointment. And, she said, you do have, whoa, what happened there? You do have some bad symptoms, so we're going to try to set you up with some phone calls, to get you started and try to get you used to coming in here, which really helped. And one thing that didn't help is that it's a 3-story office building. And of course, my doctor was on the 3rd floor. And I constantly feel like I got to escape. I got that fight or flight really bad. So there was a lot of stop. There was no fight today. It was all flight. But, and I even took an extra pill, which my doctor said to do when you're going to do something that, is very strenuous. But that extra pill, I want to say it didn't do anything, but I mean, in all reality, I guess it could have, because, maybe I wouldn't have stayed as long as I did the first time, while I was in the waiting room and everything. Oh, this guy needs to watch Helios's video. So, I'm riding a bit of a high wave right now. I'm really happy I was able to, make it through most of my appointment. But panic attacks are also very exhausted, and I am very tired. I had a couple people ask me if I was going to stream today. Wasn't planning on it. I was planning on waiting till Wednesday. But, I'll take that. Aiden, will you switch the dogs, please? Yeah. Well, the door's not locked, and the dog will get out. What's going on, Derek? Thanks for joining us.
Hockey, come here.
Been on almost 10 minutes. You're my first comment. People don't like me anymore.
I gotta do
So yeah, you know, I mean, I am exhausted. I could go to bed right now and probably sleep through to the night. But you know, I'm really excited and really happy that my doctors did move closer, and that I actually have a doctor that seems to care and you know, will walk me through when I'm panicking in the office. What's going on, Derek? Can you hear me, buddy? J-Bone's in the house. Took you guys long enough. My God. 10 minutes in. And I didn't get no comments.
Okay, come here.
Jim Bob says, does going out make it worse? I'm just giving you guys a hard time. Yes. I was going out with some friends of the family that I've been friends with since I was, probably since the day I was born, because they were actually my father's friends. And, you know, they haven't seen me in a while, so they wanted to meet up at a bar. I don't drink or anything, but, you know, and where I live, if you want to meet somewhere and it's not your house, it's got to be a bar, because, you know, apparently that's the only type of entertainment they like to provide. And I had horrible panic while I was there. You know, I went in, I sat with them for 5 minutes, and then from that point on, I was panicking. I was apologizing over and over. You know, I was explaining to them, you know, please don't take this personally. This is why I don't have friends. This is why I don't go out. You know, this is why everything, you know. And they felt bad, and they thought I was like suicidal or something, but I reassured them, I am deathly afraid of dying, so don't ever think that, you know, that's something I would do, because the reason I'm panicking is because I feel like I'm going to die and I don't want to die. So, you know, they said, well, you can't live like this forever. And they were recommending some things that, like, I just thought that you would see on TV or whatever, like shaman and, you know, people like that. And I really appreciated them trying to help, but you know, I don't really adhere to anything besides Christianity. Now, whether that makes me close-minded or not, I don't know, but that's where my convictions lay. So yes, Jim Bob, definitely going out makes it worse. But you know, like earlier today, I had to run up to the gas station that was about 2.5 miles away from my house, no problem, because I knew I was going to be in and out. Lots of things make it worse. Waiting in line, you know, if there's like a long line or something at a drive-through, or, you know, just in a store, I can't wait in that line. I have to leave, even if I have a full shopping cart. You know, I'll panic. Chris Redden says, RJ, why do you have panic attacks? Or why are you having panic attacks? Dude, I've had them ever since my 21-year-old was like 3 or 4 years old. Honestly, I believe the agoraphobia came from this. As a teenager, I only had one kid at the time. My daughter was a newborn baby, so this was about 21 years ago. And I went out with my wife and one of my best friends and his girlfriend. We went to this place called Painesville Haunted House, and that is where I had my very first panic attack, in the middle of a haunted house, which makes it like 20 times worse, because, I mean, it's panic attack is scary enough if you have one in the middle of church, you know, let alone having one in the middle of, you know, a haunted house. And then, you know, what really made it kind of suck too was Painesville is not very close to where I live. You know, it's probably about a 30-minute drive, and my wife didn't have her license, and my buddy and his girlfriend were inebriated. So I had to drive with my first panic attack, which I had in a haunted house, 40 minutes home at night. And you know, I was just so relieved when I finally made it home. And I think that's where everything started.
Oh my God,
Let's see. Chris says, "Hi RJ, hope you had a great New Year's Eve." Thanks, Chris. It was just me and my son and my nephew this New Year, and we played lots of games. Did you know I got a PlayStation 4, and I played Uno. We played Monopoly, and they're teaching me how to get good at a game called Fortnite. I don't know how many of you guys have a PlayStation 4, but I'm definitely addicted to Fortnite. And you know, I've been playing that a lot more than I've been playing Golf Clash actually. But I still love Golf Clash. It's just kind of neat to, you know, it's got that new game smell. See if this guy throws a challenge rematch at me or whatever. So yeah, I love spending time with my, you know, my son and my nephew. So it was a really good New Year's Eve. How was yours, Chris? J-Bone says, just now getting off of work and into the car. Grammy Clark says, Happy New Year, Roy. Happy New Year, Grammy. J-Bone, yeah, you're more like the opposite of suicidal. Exactly. Nobody's got to worry about that. Hey, guys, if you ever see anything, hey, you know, this small YouTube channel guy commit suicide, it's all over the news. The Illuminati came and got me, and they made it look that way. You know, that Illuminati, I don't trust them. J-Bone says, we use deep breathing and muscle relaxation techniques where I work for patients when they feel very anxious. My doctor got me to stay 40 minutes by doing, I don't know if it was deep breathing, but they were definitely breathing exercises. She had me take, she didn't tell me to take big breaths or small breaths or anything like that, but she just said, you know, I want you to breathe in through your mouth. I'm sorry, through your nose and out through your mouth. And I'm sure I did a horrible job. You know, I did my best, though, and she recognized that I was trying. This is the first time I seen her, too. I was so emotional that she got me to stay. I never met this lady before, but I hugged her on my way out. Thanked her like a million times for caring, and then I explained to her why I thanked her. And why my thanking her was so important, because most of the time people say thank you, it's just a word, and I needed her to know that I really meant it. So apparently I got really emotional after you know, she was able to talk me down off the ledge somewhat. I didn't stay for the whole hour, but staying for 40 minutes in the state of mind that I was in was quite the feat. So that was awesome. It's awesome that you work with patients like that as well. It really sucks with agoraphobia, though, because I'm not trying to, you know, use my platform, you know, to spread awareness or anything like that. But, you know, there is no help really for agoraphobics. My doctors tell me if you don't make it to the, you know, to the appointment, you don't get your medicine. You don't get your medicine, you go through withdrawal. And, you know, you go through withdrawal, that's dangerous because of the type of medications we have. So basically get your butt in here. And it's like, do you not understand, you know, what ails me? But my doctor today said she would be more than happy to work with me over the phone at the beginning to try to get me acclimated with coming in and, you know, everything. I couldn't have asked for a better, you know, situation with this doctor. I'm really, really happy. So J-Bone, you sound well versed in it. Let's see, Derek says maybe you can make Fortnite videos. Derek, you know, honestly, I thought about making some Fortnite videos just because of how hilariously bad I am. I wish I could give you examples. Like, there was someone who was shooting me and they were right in front of my face, and I shot to the left of them, I shot to the right of them. I might have shot one of their toes. Not sure, you know, if they took any damage from me, but it's like, you know, I just kind of flip out because I'm like, oh, I got to shoot them, and I'm moving all fast. So, I mean, there's definitely been some funny moments. What was the other one? Someone else came up on me, and, oh, yeah, if you're familiar with Fortnite, someone else came up on me, and I didn't realize I accidentally, you know, in trying to get a gun, I selected my shield potion. So they're sitting there shooting me and expecting to get shot. Instead, they just see me bust out a shield potion and start drinking as they're killing me, which, if you know Fortnite, it doesn't work too well. that way. Chris says, "Same, RJ. Just me and the kids playing games on the Xbox, having fun." Hey man, kids are, what a blessing, you know. I wouldn't give up my relationship with my son for anything in the world. I have a wonderful relationship, you know, and one that I would never give up with my daughters as well, but they're both over 18, you know, so they're doing their things, but if they need me, I'm there, as long as they're within 2.5 miles from the house. If not, they have a wonderful grandfather that, you know, always helps them out, you know, if it's something I can't do. And I'm kind of like the 911 operator. They call me and I just work all the logistics to get someone to help them out. And if it was a life or death situation, I'm sure my anxiety would be like, you know, oh, nice shot. I don't know if I can get within 2.78. I do everything I can, but, you know, obviously with them not having anxiety, they can go out 30 miles, 40 miles, 200 miles. Let me see. I'm going to read Chris's next. Let me just take my shot real quick and fail at trying to get 2.4. Let's see where we go with this. Perfect shot. Nope, I'm drifting too far to the left. And I'm going past it. Nice shot. Good game. Okay, Chris Redden. Hey man, I feel your pain. I've been dealing with panic attacks for years. I did 5 tours in Iraq and I've seen things most will never see in a lifetime. I wake up in the middle of the night. Oh, dude, I feel your pain 100%. I can't say that I relate to it because I've never served, and I applaud your service, and I thank you for it. But yeah, you know, I've definitely heard vets talk about, you know, their service, and a lot of times they won't get into detail, you know, and it's not because they don't want, you know, to scare me or whatever. It's because they don't want to relive it. So I'm sorry you saw so much, man. That's huge, and that's part of the sacrifice I believe that everyone's thanking you for. It's not only the time that you spend away from your family and the time that, you know, that you just give up for holidays and things like that, but, you know, it's like a piece of your life, you know, that you gave to everyone, you know, by serving the country, by helping this, you know, stay a awesome nation, a free nation. I mean, not that there's really been anyone to threaten our freedom or anything, but definitely always think of that. You know, if you're British, you know, I'm sure I would think the British and the Australians and the Indians and the Chinese and the Japanese, I would like to think they all, you know, thank their soldiers as well. J-Bone says, that's cool to hear. You found someone to build rapport with. I got to go. Just wanted to stop in and say hey. Thanks for stopping by, J-Bone. Appreciate it. And thank you. Derek says, look out. LOL, sun's behind you. I assume that was my nephew. Were you? But yeah, my nephew was behind me. I didn't look up. What were you doing behind me, John? Don't worry about it. All right. Chris says, then after I got back to the States, I found out that a guy, was molesting my niece. Then I hurt that guy pretty bad. He almost died. I ended up in prison for 2.5 years. Then in prison, I was diagnosed with cancer. Dude, that's awful. I don't know what to say to that, man, because, I mean, 2.5 years in prison, you know, for beating a guy within, you know, maybe a breath of his life, and he absolutely deserved it, but you still get punished for it, unfortunately. But, you know, that didn't take away what happened to your niece, and I know, you know, that obviously for you to get that angry, you know, and that much rage, you really loved your niece, and you know, like most uncles would love their niece or anyone else, you know, found in that situation. You know, I'm sorry that it cost you 2.5 years, and I'm really sorry that you got that diagnosis. And my God, man, if I had a diagnosis like that, I don't know what I would do. You know, honestly, I think the closest cancer treatment centers to me are like in downtown Cleveland, which is like, you know, 10 miles from me. You know, obviously downtown of every area, you know, just because you live in the city or, you know, the closest suburbs or whatever it is, downtown's either always at the center of it all or downtown in Cleveland's case because of lake areas right on the lake, so the northernmost point. I can't make it that far. But my God, man, kudos to you for beating that guy down. If I was there with you, I would have definitely been throwing a couple boots in with you. I got my boots on. Work boots to the jaw. But for everything that happened afterward, man, I'm really sorry, and I hope you kick cancer's ass. I'm all down with that. Yeah, I mean, saying it doesn't really put any, you know, charity in anyone's pocket or anything. You know, and that's, I don't know. I like the saying, but I think there should be more to it. You know, like, I don't know if you guys remember on YouTube, they had the ice bucket challenge. It raises awareness, but more so than awareness, I think it needs to be like, you know, it needs to raise funds for testing and, you know, and the medicines and, you know, people who don't have insurance that cover it all the way. I hope the VA's taking really good care of you, man. I hear nothing but nightmare stories about the VA. I hope that you're not one of those nightmare cases. Let's see. I also found an awesome doctor who helped me just like you. I've almost turned into a hermit, a prisoner in my own home. Yeah. I'm so proud of you, man, for accomplishing today. Congrats, brother. I mean, I appreciate it. I was very happy when I got home that I was able to do what I did, but my battle compared to your battle, there's no comparison, bro. I mean, you're going through a lot, man, and I pray that you come out of round 2, you know, on top, and, you know, as the slogan goes, kick cancer's ass, kick your anxiety's ass, and man, I can't imagine. You're very brave with everything you did between your service record, you know, what you did for your niece, and, you know, dealing with this diagnosis. Ruro mad. Damn, I can't believe I missed the beginning. And will you let him outside? Is he outside? Oh, okay. Sorry, no, I thought the dog escaped. He don't want a rematch. You know what? We got such a small crowd today. I know I already rejected a couple. If you guys want, I'm going to do one more Tour 6 match. But if you guys want to play friendlies with me, I'm going to do some friendlies. Wow, this is the lowest turnout I've ever had. I appreciate everyone who's here. I'm not trying to, you know, say I'm not happy with the people who I have here, because I'm very happy, but it makes me think, did YouTube not, you know, like alert people that I was streaming? Yeah, Roro, but though as far as the, you know, beginning, I just pretty much kind of opened up just talking about, you know, the anxiety and everything. So you really didn't miss much. Roro says, we wish you the best, Chris. Seriously, prayers for you. I'm with Roro, 100%. Chris wants to see the dogs. Absolutely. I think that I'm about to open up, I don't know. Let's see what goes on with this game. Hey, you left the door open. Someone just snuck out. You gotta lock the door, bud. I don't know if that's dude. So Chris says, thank you for the beautiful words, RJ. They're just words, man. I really wish that I could do more than just offer words. And you did get the alert. Okay. Yeah, my subscription, you know, my subscribers is still going up and everything. I mean, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I mean, it's not like, okay, we got Larry. I'll do Larry after this. I've never had, you know, under 10 people in here before, and it took like 10 minutes before the first person said anything. It made me wonder if there was, you know, issues with my internet or something. Let's buy some more Marlins. Let's see. Roro says, Tour 6, please. That tour sucks. Any hints on getting through? Oh, man. I wish I would have known a little ahead of time that you were interested in Tour 6. I'm having a bit of a handful of trouble myself here. But, I'm in Tour 6, so I mean, if anyone can help you, I feel like I could definitely help you. Not take a shot like what I just took. I feel, oh, no. Am I going to stay? Whew, that was closer than I wanted it to be. Yeah, they did change Tour 6 a lot, but when you get to Tour 6, you basically want to have your long clubs available. You know, if you got an Apocalypse upgraded enough, Apocalypse is good, but most people go into it with just the extra mile. Hammerhead's a good club until you can get your, and also if you're used to your big dog, that's a good way to go as well. But Hammerhead, and then yeah, I should have explained what I was doing as I was taking the shots. Chad Brewer's in the house. Hello, Master RJ. Good evening. Well, hello, Pro RJ. I only got the blue banner. Tommy's a master. I'm not even really a pro at this game. That's just what they call it. You know, I feel like I can help people who are beginners and intermediate, you know, like with my experience. But, you know, Tommy, man, he's just a phenom. That guy's amazing. And I love watching his streams. He's a very kind guy. Let's see here. Roro Mad, subscribe because you keep it real. I like Tommy's stream, but he is already a master level. I watch you because I feel like we are going through it together, keeping it real. And Chris agrees. And Chris says he's awesome, man. He talks with everyone too. Thank you guys. I mean, you know, this is, I do watch YouTube. I mean, I'm very close to cutting the cord on my cable. There's just nothing on TV that interests me, you know, and I watch different things on YouTube. I like watching creepypastas, which are basically like horror stories and things like that. You know, I get some news from YouTube and everything, but I'm not trying to like copy anyone. So, you know, when I go through, man, what's with all the disconnects? Makes me think that it's on my end just because everyone I'm playing says waiting for them to rejoin. Either that or it's the servers at Playdemic. But yeah, you know, well, especially now with, you know, with a small group like we have, it is easy to address everyone. Oh, I guess he just, okay, he forfeited. Alright. Larry, I've never played Larry. Let's do it, Larry. Let's get it on. What's going on, Ronald? How you doing? Chris says, brother, you are an awesome player. Thanks, man. I mean, you know, I'm definitely not awesome. I appreciate you saying it. I don't want to argue. I'm not going to argue with you over it. I'll definitely take the compliment, but there's many people who make videos on YouTube that are much better than me. At the game, I just I like connecting with people, and I like to think that has to do with why people like a lot of yourselves who either have the same amount of trophies as me, give or take, or more trophies, come and hang out with me. Because it's just like, that's what it is, it's hanging out. That's what the live streams are about anyway. I mean, the videos, yeah, you'll probably notice most of my videos always begin with a kind of like a what's the word I'm looking for, a disclaimer type situation, like this is for beginners. But the hanging out, I mean, Tommy's been in here, Joe's been in here, Muhammad, I played Muhammad, he's got a master badge. I can't remember everyone who has a master badge, so if you do have a master badge and I didn't name you, please don't take it personally or anything. But we all have this game in common, and I think that's awesome. I feel like we're friends, especially all these people that come in and you're here like almost every single stream, and sharing war stories, about your life, not necessarily war stories like what you did in the military, but war stories like what you've dealt with in your life, for example, Chris today, sharing about, his poor little niece and, taking care of business there to scare the guy and make sure that he never touches another little kid again, and whatever, the post-traumatic stress you could get from the service. And, it's a cool place to hang out, I mean, I want to change the name. I want to switch the ItsRJTV. I don't want to call it that anymore because it makes it seem like it's about me, and I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about the community or whatever. I want it just it's not RJTV, it's Us TV, but that's such a stupid name. But yeah, I might be changing the name of my channel because I just don't feel like ItsRJTV truly reflects what I wanted to do with the community, Roro said that dude left the game because he got his butt kicked. Nice to think of it that way. What course do you struggle with on Tour 6 mostly, Roro? Maybe I can give you some tips or whatever. Chris says, brother, I haven't had to pay for cable in 6 years. I was originally using the Amazon stick, but upgraded to the Nvidia Shield TV. Take this shot real quick. I watch any and all cable shows and movies. That's pretty cool. Higui says, RJ, you're the best. I don't know where that's coming from, but thank you. You're the best too, bro. I had the Amazon Fire Stick with Kodi and everything, but it doesn't work anymore. I guess they're cracking down. So now I'm stuck with YouTube, but it's not really, I don't want to say I'm stuck with YouTube because there's always something on. There's always so many talented people out there uploading things. I don't know, if you guys are into YouTube, you probably heard of PewDiePie and people like that, and yeah, I like PewDiePie. I think he puts out some funny stuff. There's some things that he puts out that, it kind of turns me off a little, but someone once said to me, if you try to make everyone happy, you make no one happy. And if you just got to be you. You got to cater to your people, the people that invested time in you and your channel and allowed you to pursue what you wanted to do, and that's what I'm hoping to do. Yeah, Chris, free, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I watched a lot of movies on Kodi, Exodus and Phoenix, and they had all those. I think they changed the names to them recently, but like I said, I think they've been cutting down, you know, a lot, and you know, it's harder to get the torrents and everything to load up. I've always wondered if my Amazon stick was a little goofy. Hey, Roro, I'm gonna go ahead and play another quick Tour 6 and hopefully help you out. Hopefully it's a course that you have trouble with. Roro says, I struggle generally. I am not sure if I just need to buck up and learn the wind guide. I have an extra mile 6 and a big dog 5. The extra mile 6 is a very good card, but when you get your extra mile to 7, it's like opening up a brand new club. No joke, man. I'm in love with my extra mile 7. I believe it's really the curl and accuracy are the two things that get a nice bump. Now for this hole here, I'm just going to explain everything I'm doing. I think that the elevation is up a little high, unless, no, I think I've seen this on Tour 7, but with the 5-mile-an-hour wind, I'm backing it up because I know the wind's going to push it towards the water. I have ended up in the drink before, and I am going to put curl on it, although I don't really think I need the curl. And see, the wind did push it some, and yeah, the curl helped me. Now also, you see these two trees in the way of the flag. I've never hit these trees. I don't know if they're just images, because some things you can hit, like there's a lamppost you can hit in one on the tours that we just played and everything. But see, this guy has a quarterback. For this particular hole, a quarterback's fine, but I think there's too many holes on Tour 6 that require the extra mile. Tour 5 is an excellent course for the quarterback, especially if you were just sinking money in and upgrading it as you went along. But here the guy's fine with the quarterback because, you know, you don't have to go and drive it. There's a lot of Tour 6 ones where you've got to pull all the way back on the driver just to make it far enough to where you go. Jeff Vanderwall, Casey Neistat produces high quality content. Probably one of the best on YouTube. Jeff, I completely agree. I'm not a fan of Casey Neistat, but I know who he is and I admire him. And when I say I'm not a fan of him, he's never done anything wrong. It's just not the type of content I particularly watch, but I completely like, he's never put anything out that's offended me, or, you know, not that he would care, you know, but you know what I mean. He seems like a really good guy. And you know, I've heard my son talk good about Casey Neistat. You know, he's up with all the YouTubers and everything. It's definitely a better influence than people like the Paul brothers, you know, and a lot of other YouTubers out there. So yeah, nothing but good things to say about Casey. I just really don't watch his videos, which I don't think hurts him much because he's got like millions of subscribers. No, RJ, transfer an app called Terrarium. It's like Cody, but an app in the App Store, like the Fire Stick App Store, or like the Apple App Store. Terrarium. Why does that sound familiar? I thought if that's an Amazon thing, I think I did get Terrarium, and I still am having problems finding movies to download. You know, it's kind of like going the way of Napster. You know, like they're getting shut down one site at a time or whatever. You know, if there's a quick fix, I'll definitely look for Terrarium. There's another one. What is it called? Popcorn Time or something like that. I can't remember what it is, but you could hook your laptop up to your TV through an HDMI cord, and it's called Popcorn something, and watch free movies that way. Roro says, I am watching, trust me. Do you usually play with Marlins? Does that help? I play with Marlins because I play Tour 7, and when I play Tour 7, I generally go with a navigator. And I'm so familiar with Tour 6 that a Marlin is good enough for me. The wins aren't quite as high. We're not hitting from pro tees. But man, have I been on a losing streak lately. But Marlins are the cheapest ball. And, you know, I don't want to play with a plain white ball because no one else does. Well, I don't want to say no one else does, but, you know, it's hard to compete when someone has better clubs than you. If they got better balls than you to boot, you're really at a handicap or a disadvantage. So that's why I take Marlins. You know, if someone's going to bring a Kingmaker, I think they're just wasting the club. I'm sorry, wasting the ball. Because, you know, the winnings just doesn't justify it. And this is the last course where you aim the ball is where it's going to be put. You know, like you see when you get to the Pro Series, it's very hard, you know, to get as close to the hole, and your opponents, you know, might have an advantage if they're used to it. That's why I keep having trouble on Tour 7, because I can't learn the shootouts. If I got the shootouts down, I'd be in Tour 8 by now. You know, because I could play the game just fine. It's just overtime always kills me. Looks like we're going to get more snow. Chris, yes, I agree with Chris. No need for all that side spin. So yeah, the Marlin is plenty. I'm going to do this week with Marlins. I have a ton of them. I have never used. There you go. That was a nice shot. Good game, Jeff. And I believe I have a challenger waiting. Yes, I do. Eric. We've played quite a few times. And it looks like it's always a good match. Marlins are a dime a dozen. Marlins are self-sustainable. You will get enough gems just through opening your chests to buy Marlins whenever you need them, and they won't put that big of a dent. Just there comes a certain point when you stop buying clubs and only focus on balls with your gems, and that's what I would recommend doing. If you're playing Tour 6, I think you're at that point, unless there's like an epic club that you haven't gotten, or maybe if you're only like 2 or 3 cards away from upgrading something like your sniper, then yeah, I might, you know, drop a few coins. But overall, the vast majority of my gems go for what do you call it? Vast majority of my gems go towards balls. Roro says, Chris, I am going to do a week with Marlins. I have a ton of them. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, don't waste your good balls, man, says Chris, and I completely agree with Chris. You know, I want to laugh when I'm playing, you know, people with, what is it, Tour... you know, every time I hit this ball, it's like it hits a tree or something. I don't know. But, you know, I'll be playing Tour 4, someone will bust out with a freaking Kingmaker, and I'm like, seriously? For $2 grand, you think that Kingmaker's worth $2 grand? Yep, too much. Oh, thank God. I use regular balls. I guess I enjoy hoarding them more than using them. I was the same way, Roro. You know, and it was Tour 6 when, I don't remember who told me, but someone said when you get into Tour 6, use a Marlin, and then when you get to Tour 7, go with either a Navigator or, is it a Quasar? Yeah, Quasar, not Katana. I always get those confused. Roro says, I still have a couple pumpkin balls that I cannot bring myself to use. Oh, dude, I should show you my balls. That didn't sound right. I should show you the balls that I have in my bag for golf. I gotta like look for my Marlins and stuff, because I got, you know, when I win them in the tournaments, I'm the same way. I don't want to use them. They're like, you know, little collectibles to me or whatever. Chris is letting me know, no, it's in the Android store. Oh, so it, yeah, see, I got an iPhone. So I'm stuck. And do you project your Android phone to your TV somehow? or do you just watch it on your phone? Because I know there's like a Netflix app and everything like that.
He started a fight with the wrong helicopter.
Oops. Oh, it's a very forgiving club. I still got a shot. Damn it. That was lined up good. Chris Redden says, I think I'll link you in the messenger, brother. This app is one of the best apps to watch TV and movies. I promise you'll never have to worry about being shut down. It has a built-in real debird. That must be some tech stuff I don't really know about. But I'll definitely take your word for it and appreciate it, and I'll look forward to receiving it, bro. Jeff Vanderwall, too much, or never mind. Yeah, Jeff, I'm sorry, bud, but when you comment about a shot, by the time I get to your comment, I'm probably like 2 holes forward in most cases. Happy New Year, Golf and Danny. Roro, I'm good at not seeing your balls. That's good, man. You can still use iPhone with the Amazon stick. Okay, so, well, hopefully, yeah, if you link that, if you send me something to Messenger, Chris, you know, and I'm not 100% sure how to look it up. I mean, to get Kodi to work on my Amazon stick, I went to YouTube. You know, I go to YouTube for everything. My sister-in-law's car needed... one of her headlights went out. I went to YouTube, found out you got to take off the front bumper, you know, just to replace a headlight. So I said, no way, I've never taken off a bumper of a car before. I'm used to working under the hood. I don't do body work. But yeah, I mean, I fixed my dishwasher with YouTube. I fixed my shower cartridge with YouTube. I mean, there's just so much. I have a feeling. Oops.
Do you have the cops on you?
I wanted to hit great. I wanted to hit it on the other side, not that side. Yeah, that. Barely made it. Oh, at least I get fairway to hit from. I do use my iPhone with the Amazon stick in terms of, like, my, you know, instead of using, I should have it right here, you know, that cheap little Amazon remote they give you. Keys, wallet, DVDs. I'm sure you know what an Amazon controller looks like. But, yeah, you know, the iPhone works so much better. Jeff Vanderwall says, I totally do the same thing. All the best shots on the edge of disaster. And Chris says, me too, LOL. YouTube is our best friend. Absolutely, man. If I need to know how to do an oxygen sensor, you know, or whatever it is, you know, brake job on a car that I've never done brakes on and it's not like mine. There's so many things, you know, that you know, that YouTube has taught me, you know, and that's part of the reason, you know, for my channel in a way, because, you know, if you look at my actual videos, they're Golf Clash tutorials, you know, so it's more like me showing people at lower levels, you know, how to do you know, certain things in Golf Clash that otherwise I wouldn't know. And why do I do that? Because when I download a mobile game that or not even a mobile game, even a PlayStation game, I watch YouTube videos on Fortnite, you know. So yeah, I love it for tutorials and stuff. You know, me and my son watch this guy, the crazy Russian hacker. You know, he does some awesome things. You know, he has some awesome some people, man, they just, you know, they're just like really awesome to watch. Anytime someone says, hey, I want you to check this guy out on YouTube, I definitely am down, because YouTube just opened up such an awesome avenue to so many people we would have never heard of. Honestly, YouTube could be the downfall of television, if you ask me, you know. I mean, sure, you're not going to get no Game of Thrones or Walking Dead on YouTube, but you know, aside from, you know, those few, you know, really big thing, you know, like TV shows and everything, you don't have to have an agent and be Hollywood and all that other stuff. There's just, you know, there's so many creators that I love, and I look at them, you know, as more entertaining than people on, say, maybe Saturday Night Live or whatever. Just as an example. I'm not hating on Saturday Night Live, I'm just saying. I think I moved a little too far to the right, but I'm not going to correct it.
So they don't suspect anything. Alright, and put on an outfit where they can't see your face.
Ah, 1 bar less of backspin. I hate that. Jeff Vanderval, what level are you at, and what tour are you playing?
Don't rob it without me. Act suspicious. No, don't go in there yet.
You know, this iPhone pisses me off. It's like I press these buttons, and instead of pressing it, just closes it. And a buddy of mine also has an iPhone, says he has the same problem trying to send emojis and things.
2, 1, go. I'll kill this lady. Or you will.
Yeah, Chris, I saw that. YouTube offers cable TV now, and YouTube was banned from Fire Stick. I believe that YouTube was banned from Fire Stick. I heard a news report that the reason for the banning is because Amazon's going to come out with their own version of YouTube. So, you know, that might be cool. You know, anytime there's competition, it's a good thing. Look at, you know, look at the Ford Mustang and the Chevy Camaro and the Dodge Challenger or Charger, and, you know, the Corvette and the Viper and so on and so forth. You know, so many of these cars would not exist if their competition wasn't creating them. You know, the Mustang came out in 1964. What came out in 1965? I believe it was 65, or was it 66, the first year of the Camaro. You know, and then shortly after that, you got your Challenger. You know, and now you look at it, whoa, unlucky. You look at them today, you know, back in the 90s, which was my heyday, you know, age-wise and everything. I had a 1988 Mustang GT that was very fast. It had 225 horsepower. What does a Mustang have today? 400 and something? I mean, the Chevy Corvette had like 200 and something horsepower. Maybe it was 300 horsepower or whatever in the, you know, 90s or whatever. But I mean, it was the horsepower wars, man. You know, the Z06 just a few years ago, 505 horsepower. Here, I'll play another Tour 5 game to try to help out Roro. Yeah, Jeff Vanderwall, I'm supposed to be in Tour 7, but unfortunately I don't have the bank. Okay, this is a good hole here. Now, normally on this hole I won't use a Marlin, but you see how the wind is kind of almost pushing me. If I make this shot, I can get on the green in 2. You never want to go to this little area over here that I just put in the center, because you get further going this way. Now, just because I want to, you know, do as good as I can, I'm going to throw Quasar in here to give me a little bit more distance. Full top spin, and if I can split between these two sand traps, I can get on the green in 2 and win the game versus someone who goes the long way. So, unless, I mean, even if I end up in the sand trap, I'm fine unless he doesn't end up in the sand trap. Yep, see, I'm in the sand trap. So it's going to take me 3 shots. But any other way you take, it's going to take you 3 shots. So you might as well try to get it in between in that little way. Because if he decides to go straight up, which I highly doubt he will, but if he does decide to go straight up, or if he comes in that little cove area, it's 3 shots. This is the only way it's 2 shots. And you've got to have impeccable aim for it. The only time I don't go that way is if I have a wind, you know, blowing in my face, probably more than 2 or 3 miles an hour. then I'll take the long way, because I know there's just no way they're going to get over there unless they use a kingmaker, and if in that case it's like, or a titan, it's just like whatever, you could have it, because your kingmaker or your titan doesn't help you if you end up in the sand trap. But even if you just barely come off of, like if he hits the green and then doesn't even make it to the sand trap, like if he would have went another inch or two, he could have still got on the green in 2. So it's 3 shots for both of us, but we could have made it 2 if we could have made it in between. So now what I am going to just try to do is going right down the middle of the fairway, so if I slice it a little, I'm okay. Just trying to get as close as I can for the best type of chip-in shot I can get. This is my plan B. I'm not going to be close enough to use a wedge, I don't think, but I do have the Hornet. So there is maybe a 1 in 10 shot at a chip-in, depending on how the wind blows here. And he's not really going to have that big of an advantage with his Nirvana. He's going to have to pretty much do the same thing I did. What's going on, Roger? Good to see you. Jeff. Wisecracking Jeff. Hey, RJ. Congrats on the Browns winning the first draft pick again this year. What have we done with any of our first draft picks ever? First round or first overall. It never pans out. And I got to say, I watched Ohio State play in that bowl game. And I don't even remember the name of the quarterback that we're trying to get, but he did not impress me at all. If you can't shred a very, very good Ohio State defense, there's no NFL defense you're going to be able to shred, because as bad as the Browns are, the Browns would destroy whoever wins the national championship in college football. So you got to think about it. How many of those players are going to declare for the draft? You know, versus how many are going to become lawyers, doctors. They're not even going to be good enough to enter the NFL. So you can't compare college against, you know, NFL. And as bad as the Browns are, I think the Browns could historically be the worst team the NFL has ever had. The last time we won a game was Christmas Eve 2016. We won 1 game last year. We won 0 games this year. A lot of head coaches were fired, but not the one from the Cleveland Browns. And I can't say that I'm overly happy or not overly happy about that, because we've done plenty of coach firing in the past, and it hasn't helped us any. We are a poor excuse for a football team. It honestly looks like we are a college football team that, you know, occasionally once a week gets to play a random NFL team, and it's just it's an embarrassment, man. And you know, I love when they show the stadium, because you see so many orange seats, so many empty seats. It's like Jimmy Haslam was supposed to be this Cleveland savior to save us from the Al Learners. You know, when the father died, he had horrible teams, but he got it as an expansion team. Then he passed away. His son got the team, and he was more interested in soccer, so we couldn't wait for him to sell it. Jimmy Haslam gets the team. Then he gets indicted by the FBI. I mean, Cleveland can't win anything. And if you go back to before the Baltimore Ravens stole our team, and that's the only word I have for it, I'm very mad about our team being in Baltimore. However, I completely understand why they did go. And, you know, the Cavs got a brand new arena. The Indians got a brand new stadium. And we were offering the Browns to share Jacobs Field, which is now First Energy Field or whatever. You know, with the Indians, and the Browns didn't want that. They wanted their own stadium. First of all, we're a football team. Second of all, it's called Progressive Stadium now, only sits 42,000. What football game or what football stadiums only seat 42,000 people? You know, you want to talk about taking a loss. Not to mention, Art Modell owned Cleveland Browns Municipal Stadium, from what I heard. So he went from owning a stadium to playing where, you know, the Cleveland was going to own the stadium. Not Cleveland, the Indians. So there was a lot of bad things that happened to him. I never take this middle shot. Some people can do good, but I never do what he's doing. I feel pretty good that I could win this, even though I didn't get as close to the pin as I wanted. Roro says, I hate this hole. Yeah, it depends on the wind. I didn't get as close as I want, but a lot of times I get stuck up on the top of the hill. I never take the way he's taken. So many people end up in the drink or fly way past the hole, although he's got a good chance. See, a lot of times you would go up over. Let's see where... I think he won. I would never advise what he did, but what he did worked that time. I think he's within, yep, 3, and I think I was within 4. I should have been closer with my shot. That's the first time I got beat like that. Let's see if we can do it again. Nope, not interested. Okay. Jeff Vanderwall, best Rose Bowl I've ever seen. Amazing game. I missed the playoff games. Who won? Ronald Krodick. My Ravens lost. I was so depressed. Ronald, I'm sorry. I was dancing. I was jumping up and down with glee. I absolutely, positively hate the Baltimore Ravens. Probably, now I don't know if this is just like something that I've heard, but I was, how do I put this? I heard that when the Colts play Baltimore, the Colts fans are treated like trash, you know, because Baltimore looks at it, probably the older generation, but Baltimore looks at it as, hey, you stole our team, you know, now you're coming in our building and, you know, rooting for, you know, a team that you stole from us. And it's like, I kind of laugh a little bit because it's like, well, that's basically what happened to us. But you guys have the real Browns. Like, I would honestly, in a heartbeat, I would trade you guys straight up. Our Browns, I want our Browns back, and you can have this garbage team and ownership and everything else, and we get the Baltimore Ravens ownership, which is the Cleveland Browns that we built, you know, and everything from the 60s. And, oh, come on. And you guys would laugh and say, heck no, I don't want your sorry team. You know, and we used to be competitive. We used to be in the frickin' playoffs every year, 1 year away from the Super Bowl. The drive, the fumble, red right 88. You know, it goes on and on. Now, what do the Browns have to cheer about? The first down? I mean, that's really all we cheer. It's like we get a first down and the stadium erupts like we just scored a touchdown. But I can't blame you in Baltimore, you know, because especially if you're a Baltimore fan, what really makes me mad is when my friends here in Cleveland are Ravens fans. You know, I'm like, you traitors. Let's see here. But, I mean, the Ravens, yeah, I was so mad when we lost our team, and I take it out on the city of Baltimore, which probably isn't right, but, you know, I do. I'm an Oriole fan. I like the Orioles, so it's just the Ravens. Roro says, an Ohio man's obituary blames the Browns' loss on his death. Yeah, I read that. Actually, I think that popped up while I was streaming. Welcome to Cleveland, man. That's Cleveland in a nutshell. Now, see, I feel like I should overpower this because I'm shooting uphill, but I don't want to slice it or mess it up. So I'm hoping one or two things happened, and the second one happened. I was hoping that it went far enough so I didn't need to overshoot it. That was bad judgment on my call. And if it wasn't, I didn't want to end up right next to the fringe because that's too long of a putt. But it worked out good for me on this hole. Scott Hall. Awesome in Las Vegas. Yeah, oh man, I don't know what the weather's like out there, but it's pretty far north. I know it's not like Cleveland or anything, but I hear the desert gets cold, man. Roger says, I think Hugh is a good coach. Problem is management. You know, here, let me give you an example on why I really don't like Hugh that much. Deshaun Kaiser is our quarterback. Not a horrible quarterback for his rookie year, especially someone who wasn't ready for the NFL. I mean, he wasn't like Andrew Luck or anyone like that, but he has accuracy problems, and he's a rookie quarterback. He is going to have some problems. He was handed the job right there at the beginning of the season. Fine, okay, you want to play it that way? You got to treat him like a rookie quarterback. And, you know, go look it up, man. Google it. Browns games. How many times we run the ball? The last game, it wasn't the last game of the season. It was the second last game of the season. We were playing, I don't remember who we were playing, but we were playing a team. And it was the second last one. It wasn't the Pittsburgh game. Oh. Let me hold that thought. This hole could really help you out a lot, Roro. This is how I like... Well, it's not my turn. Okay, so while he takes his turn, let me hurry up and finish my thought. So anyway, it was 6-3 at halftime. So we were in the game. And Hugh Jackson ends up running the ball 2 whole times in the second half with our rookie quarterback. You know any games? I mean, Isaiah Crowell was complaining all season, rightfully so, that that he wasn't getting the ball. I mean, it's like you got a rookie quarterback with accuracy problems, but yet you're constantly throwing the ball nonstop. And Duke Johnson and Isaiah Crowell are both awesome, running backs. And when I say awesome, I mean like middle of the row. But you got to think Cleveland's like the worst team ever. So to have middle of the row type teams, all right, I don't want to mess this up. So this is what I do. I put full side spin, and because the wind's blowing upward, I'm just going to go 1 bar up. I usually go 2. And now I got to find the perfect spot here so I don't end up in the sand, which I think is right about here. Hopefully, yeah, 1 mile an hour per ring. That looks about good. And then I curl it all the way over to the right. And usually this gets me within about 3 or 4 yards. Unless I made a mistake somewhere and I end up in the sand. I feel good. I feel good. Oh, no, maybe should put a little backspin on it. But anyway, normally I end up a little closer to the hole than that. He went 11. I went to 7. So, of course, it makes a liar out of me. But normally when I do that, I end up really close to the hole. I've even chipped in a couple hole-in-ones. So I hope that helps you, because I know a lot of people struggle with that hole. This guy's icon is very intimidating. It's got a double barrel pointed right at my face. I feel like I asked his daughter out on a date and he wasn't too happy about it. Every time I see that. He's a nice guy. I don't know if he's actually in the chat. I didn't see him say anything. This is Greg K. He usually hangs out with us. Sad, but I have to go. Love the stream. Looking forward to the next one. All right, Roro. I hope you got to see that little shooting, that I did for that one course. But if not, probably won't see it. Jeff says Georgia tops Oklahoma in 2 overtimes. Nice. And Alabama, there it is. I was looking for that. Alabama beat Clemson. I am an Ohio State fan, as all of you guys know.
Did you get the cops and then get on my bike?
Ohio State destroyed LSU. I am so happy that it ends there and that Ohio State did not make it to the Final Four teams. We did not deserve to be there, in my opinion. And we would have probably been bounced out in the first round. And I would love to see Alabama win it all. I know Alabama's a powerhouse, much like Ohio State. Actually, even more so than Ohio State. Yeah, you know, just because they were almost excluded. See, college football's got problems, man. You know, there shouldn't only be 4 teams. There's too many teams in college football for only a 4-team playoff. I don't have a problem with all the bowls. You know, everyone says there's too many bowls, but you know, if you think there's too many bowls, only watch the ones that you want to watch. You know, I mean, for these smaller teams that, you know, go 500 and they make it to a bowl, you know, that's a huge deal for these seniors and, you know, and for the school and everything. So that doesn't really bother me. Nice shot. But yeah, I think we need more than 4 teams. There's not enough wiggle room in there, if you know what I mean. There's not enough, you know, there's going to be disputes like there is right now about who should make it and who shouldn't. It should be more NFL style, I don't know, in my opinion. All right, we're able to sneak about the same spot he got to. That island shot is good for low wind, says Roger. Ronald says, I hate Flacco and always have. Yeah, Flacco's one of those quarterbacks that was he was always carried by his awesome defense. I hated Ray Lewis. You want to know why I hated Ray Lewis? Because he was so awesome, and he should have been a Cleveland Brown. But, you know, I mean, I hated him with respect, if that makes sense. Never wanted anything bad to happen to the guy. Never sat there and hoped, you know, that he had an injury. I don't do that for any player. Well, I mean, when the Browns are playing, I might hope that someone just, you know, tweaks an ankle just a little bit. I don't want their career to end or anything, but if they could just, like, not play in the game that we're currently in, you know, that would be nice. But as we've seen in the final game of the season, where we played the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Big Three sat out. Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon Bell all took a seat on the bench, and the Browns couldn't win. That right there tells you. We basically played the second-string Pittsburgh Steelers and lost. And we were the winless team. So to say we didn't have anything to play for is not true. We wanted to win that game. No, there's no one on this team who wanted. We already had the #1 overall pick locked up. You can't tell me Hugh wanted to go, what do you call it? Hugh wanted to, you know, set a record with Detroit Lions. So, yeah, we got beat by the second-string Steelers, and that's about right. That's where we're at. Oh, Ronald's a Yankee fan. Oh, God, you're going to hate me. You're going to unsubscribe. I don't like the Yankees or the Red Sox, so can we still be friends? I'm an Indians fan, and I remember back in the 90s, the Yankees and the Indians had some great rivalry games, but I always hated the Yankees because they always had the largest payrolls and, you know, just the Yankee fans in New York City. It was a tough place to play. I always felt like New York and LA were just too entitled when it came to sports. Why does LA? LA had a sports team that left because they couldn't sustain them, and then all of a sudden, boom, they give them 2 franchises. They basically say, forget you, San Diego, and forget you, St. Louis, and soon it's going to be forget you, Oakland, for Las Vegas. I think that LA should have got 1 team, and I believe that Las Vegas should have got 1 team. Ooh, that was super close. You know, and just do expansion or something, you know. I mean, nobody wants to lose their football teams. Tennessee Matt, I don't know why I'm not getting notifications that you're going live. Tennessee, man, you ain't the only one. This stream hasn't gone over 10 people, which is fine. I'm having an awesome time chatting it up with everyone in here, but not too many people stop by. This is the lowest by far that I've ever had in terms of, you know, doing a live stream, having people show up. All right, let me take this shot real quick. Eric's in the house. Hey, dude. Hey, asked you about the Firefly Club. You use it much. I didn't see that question, Eric. I'm sorry. The Firefly is an absolutely, and I'm going back on what I said not long ago. I said the Firefly was not a good club. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't good. And that was before I started doing that thing where when I chip in shots, I put full topspin. When you put full topspin, because the Firefly has so much topspin, has an awesome ball guide, the Firefly is an awesome club. If I didn't have the Endbringer or the Rapier or the Skewer as high as a level as I do, I probably would be using the Firefly, but those are just my personal favorites. If you're playing with the Firefly or want to get used to the Firefly, you can make that Firefly every bit as good as the Skewer. I think that the Endbringer and the Rapier are just too good to really, say that the Firefly could hang with them. But aside from those two, if you got your Firefly leveled up, I would absolutely use my Firefly. Because when you put the front spin on, your accuracy just increases like tenfold because your target gets so small. So, big fan of the Firefly. There's not too many bad wedges out there. I even like the Dart. Eric says, I'm old school. I remember watching Dan Fouts with wide receiver Winslow, Joyner, and Jefferson. I don't know what year that was, Eric, but my most fond Cleveland Browns football era was Bernie Kosar, Kevin Mack, Webster Slaughter, Brian Brennan, Eric Dixon, who invented the dog, dogs for Cleveland and the dog pound, Frank Minifield, Ice Cube, Gerald McNeil. I could go on. Ozzie Newsome. So I'm kind of showing my age a little bit.
Alright, you ready?
Jeff Vanderwall. I'm from San Diego. Hey, do you know San Diego, Steve? We hate the owner Spanos. Oh, low power mode. Uh-oh. I seriously don't think he should ever travel south of San Clemente. Sucks not having a team anymore. I know, dude. As a Browns fan, I've been there with you. It's sad. I don't think it should be done to anyone. Because taking a team away is just taking not only some economy away from the city, but tradition and everything. San Diego deserves a team. I was a huge Chargers fan, and I can't root for them now that they're in LA. I think that they are an awesome story, especially Jeff Goff. Everyone said he was a bust, and then he goes out, and that's what a coach, a coach can make that kind of difference for you. But I can't root for him, man. And Todd Gurley, what a turnaround he had. But, you're kind of like me, man, with the Browns, we lose the Browns, and they go out and, they get, like, the best defensive player possibly to ever play, in Ray Lewis. So, that's the hatred I feel towards the Baltimore Ravens. I don't have hate for Baltimore fans who live in Baltimore or who live outside of Ohio, but I have friends who are Ravens fans, and I just jokingly, I don't really call him a traitor. I do really call him a traitor, but I don't mean it like, dude, don't be friends with me anymore because you're a traitor. Stop for him. Stop. Oh, that sucks, dude. Hopefully you go on the fringe. If you go on the fringe, you got there you go. At least you got a nice chip-in opportunity. But I'm with you, Jeff. Tennessee Matt says, I just happened to notice it on YouTube. I don't know why it didn't send alerts out. Honestly, I thought it was because I put the word anxiety in the title that, people were like, yeah, we don't want to hear about your problems. We just want to, get some golf clash going. But apparently, maybe they changed something in the algorithm. I'm not sure. Eric said, I seen the hook in the ball guide. Yeah.
No,
Faith hopped on. Hello, beautiful person. RJ, how are you? Good to see you, Faith.
Say this. Say, I already have your number. Oh, Oh, sinkhole.
Eric says thanks. Yeah, I like the Firefly. Because anything with a lot of topspin is a good club for a wedge. You know, because like I said, I like to pull it in, put full topspin on and pull it in as close to me. And man, that target just shrinks and shrinks and shrinks into nothingness. And that's what you want. That just ups and ups and ups your accuracy.
Just text liar. Just text liar.
But anyway, as you guys see, my phone is dying. So after this shootout, I'm going to go ahead and end it. Eric says, I had Gordon on my fantasy lineup. I started him twice. See, and that's another thing. That's typical Cleveland for you. Just like that Cleveland luck. We get Josh Gordon, potentially the best NFL wide receiver. If you look at the quarterbacks that Cleveland has had to toss the ball to him, none of them have been good. And yet,
No, just say send a pic of your arm.
you know, he performs all the time. Wow, what a way to end it.
Yeah, because I know.
You know, and the guy can't stay off of drugs. He obviously has a problem, because no athlete who absolutely loves football wants to throw away his career when he's going to make ridiculous money. You know, I understand that. You definitely have a problem. I feel bad for you, absolutely, from that standpoint. But that's Cleveland. You know, Johnny Manziel, watch, he could have been like the next Drew Brees or something, but, you know, the partying and everything. I mean, I don't know, man. Cleveland's just, we truly are the mistake on the lake. But yeah, I didn't pick up Gordon. I didn't think we had a good enough quarterback to get him the ball. And, you know, he blew up one game. Hopefully you had him in on the game he blew up, which I think was his second game back. Get in the hole. Oh. Thank you. Alright, guys. I'm going to go ahead and end it there and play some Fortnite. And when I get a little bit better at Fortnite, maybe I'll stream those if you guys are interested. Thank you so much for stopping by. And I will definitely see you guys in the near future. Maybe even tomorrow, because I plan on doing 1 hour Wednesdays. And this doesn't count as a 1 hour Wednesday because we went 90 minutes. Thank you so much, though. It was awesome chatting with you guys and hanging out. Take care. All the best.